In 2007, in Estonia, an art therapist named Anna Troyev begins her very first day at Saaremaa Psychiatric Hospital. But almost as soon as she arrives and meets her supervisor, Dr. Novotny, one of the staff members rushes in with terrifying news. The hospital's most dangerous patient, Lena Klammer, is missing from her cell. The emergency alarm immediately goes off, and Anna is told to stay inside a locked safe room until Lena is found. Novotny explains that the person who worked there before Anna once broke protocol, and it ended horribly after an encounter with Lena. Then in the darkness of the room, Anna suddenly notices what looks like a sweet, innocent little girl. But that child is actually Lena, and she is holding a pencil like she is ready to use it as a weapon. Thankfully, Novotny and the staff arrive just in time to restrain her. He then reveals the shocking truth. Lena is not a child at all. She suffers from a gland disorder that stopped her physical growth around the age of 10. In reality, she is a 31-year-old woman, and this is where her deception truly begins. This is Orphan, First Kill. From the moment she arrived at the psychiatric hospital, Lena has done nothing but resist and fight for her freedom. She even leaves herself bloodied, trying to tear off the restraints around her neck and wrists. On top of that, she constantly uses her fragile appearance and fake innocence to manipulate people. 2 years earlier, before being locked up, she had already infiltrated a happy family who took pity on her because they believed she was a helpless little girl. Instead of repaying their kindness, Lena stole from them and murdered every single one of them. Because of how dangerous she is, Lena is kept in a highly secured cell behind a heavy steel door. But someone like Lena is never out of options. This time, she sets her sights on one of the guards, a man with disgusting intentions. She charms him into buying her clothes online, then convinces him to come into her cell and help her put them on. The moment he unlocks the room and steps inside, Lena starts luring him in, then brutally kills him. After that, she wastes no time escaping. Using the guard's access card, she easily moves through the locked doors and carefully makes her way down the corridors until a front security guard finally notices her. But of course, Lena already has a backup plan. She knows one of the other patients will turn violently aggressive whenever their name is called. So she uses that to her advantage. Just as expected, the patient attacks a guard and kills him in a brutal frenzy, giving Lena the perfect chance to get away. And before leaving the hospital for good, Lena makes one last smart move. She shuts down the CCTV system so no one will know exactly how she escaped. On the other side, after witnessing how brutal the patients are, Anna decides to quit her job. Just before leaving, she spots Lena, who has just escaped, silently signaling her not to say anything and not to report it. Even after that warning, Anna does not hesitate and immediately informs Dr. Novotny. After that, Anna heads back to the city and arrives home late at night. The silence around her, the terrifying incident at the hospital, and even the trunk of her car suddenly opening on its own, all make her increasingly uneasy. Then, the moment she steps inside her house, Lena is already there waiting, and without hesitation, she brutally attacks Anna. It turns out Lena had been hiding inside the trunk of Anna's car the entire time to keep her quiet. After beating her relentlessly, Lena begins planning her next move. She wants to continue her obsession of infiltrating another family. So she starts searching for missing children in America between the ages of 9 and 12. By pure coincidence, she finds a file about a girl who looks almost identical to her, a child named Esther Albright who disappeared 4 years earlier. Lena decides to take on Esther's identity. She dresses like a 10-year-old girl and wears ribbons around her neck and wrists to hide her scars. Her plan is simple: pretend to be the missing child and reunite with the family through the police. But before she sets everything in motion, she finishes off Anna, who is still lying helpless near the door. Meanwhile, in Connecticut, after attending their son Gunner's fencing match, Esther's parents, Alan and Tricia, receive shocking news. Detective Donnan informs them that their missing daughter has finally been found. According to the story given to the police by Esther, who is actually Lena, she was kidnapped 4 years ago by a woman who took her to Russia and raised her as her own. Without wasting any time, Tricia travels alone to Russia to bring her daughter home. Since Alan is busy, she is overwhelmed with emotion when she sees her child again, now looking more grown up. But something feels off. During the flight, when Tricia shows her a photo of Esther's grandmother, Lena reacts as if she does not recognize her. That confuses Tricia, since the grandmother had already passed away long ago. Realizing she made a mistake, Lena quickly excuses herself. She heads to the restroom, secretly grabs alcohol, and vents her frustration in private, trying to regain control before anyone grows more suspicious. Once they arrive in America, Trisha tries to check the necklace Lena is wearing, but Lena reacts aggressively and stops her. Not long after that, she is warmly welcomed by Alan and her older brother Gunnar. The family is overwhelmed with happiness, finally reunited after years of separation. When they get home, Lena is taken to her bedroom, which has been kept exactly the same as it was 4 years ago. The next day, Trisha brings her to see a psychologist, Dr. Seagar, who used to know Esther in the past and now keeps a pet bird named Sydney. During the session, when the doctor starts asking about what happened during the kidnapping, Lena quickly avoids the topic and distracts herself by playing with the bird instead. After the session ends, Dr. Seagar asks to speak with Trisha in private. Curious about what they are discussing, Lena creates a distraction by spilling water in the next room. When the staff member steps away, she activates the room's audio system and secretly listens in. From their conversation, she learns that the doctor has noticed something strange. Esther seems to have a different accent, and even more suspicious, she got the name of the pet wrong. Sydney is not the bird she was playing with, but a much larger macaw kept elsewhere. To stop Trisha from becoming more suspicious, Lena once again manipulates the situation. She pretends to tear her sleeve and blames a nearby child, forcing an interruption that cuts the conversation short. On the way home, she notices Detective Donnan quietly watching her from a distance while taking photos, which makes things even more unsettling. Back at the house, Alan, who is a well-known painter, shows her his artwork, including pieces that reveal hidden layers when exposed to ultraviolet light. Lena also sees newspaper clippings and drawings of Esther that Alan created during the years his daughter was missing. Wanting to impress him, Lena decides to paint his portrait. And despite her appearance as a child, the result is so stunning that it leaves Alan completely amazed. That night, Trisha accidentally finds Lena's secret book and tries to look through it, but she is caught by Lena, who firmly tells her not to invade her privacy again. Not long after, Lena discovers Esther's old diary, and she begins studying it carefully to better understand the real Esther and perfect her role. During dinner, Detective Donnan stops by to welcome Esther home. Curious about his intentions, Lena pretends to go to the kitchen for a drink, but she is actually listening in on their conversation. It turns out Donnan wants the whole family to meet with Dr. Seagar for a deeper psychological evaluation. Hearing that, Lena quickly steps in and redirects the situation, reminding them that Trisha already has plans the next day. Donnan agrees to reschedule, but he also casually points out that Esther forgot to refill her glass, subtly revealing that he knows she was listening earlier. Feeling the pressure and growing suspicion, Lena decides to run away that same night, taking some of Trisha's valuables with her. But just as she is about to leave, she notices Alan outside, completely absorbed in his painting. Something about him makes her hesitate. It becomes clear that Lena has developed feelings for Alan. Instead of escaping, she turns back and chooses to stay, continuing her life as Esther. The next day, while Trisha and Alan attend a party, Gunnar is at home with his friends when Detective Donnan shows up. Still suspicious, Donnan quietly sneaks into Lena's room and takes a vinyl record that contains her fingerprints. Realizing what has happened, Lena becomes furious and immediately follows him. Later that night, when Trisha returns from the party, she enters Lena's room, which is left unlocked. Hearing the shower running, she assumes her daughter is inside and takes the chance to read the secret book. Inside, she finds newspaper clippings featuring herself, Alan, and Donnan, along with detailed information about their home. On the cover, she notices a stamp from Sarama Psychiatric Hospital. Shocked by the discovery, Trisha rushes to the bathroom, only to realize that no one is there. In that moment, she understands that Lena is not in the house at all. At his house, Donnan begins analyzing Lena's fingerprints, and it quickly becomes clear that they do not match Esther's at all. As he tries to figure out who this mysterious girl really is, Lena suddenly appears and attacks him, stabbing him repeatedly. Moments later, Trisha arrives and shoots Donnan several times. Trisha already knows that Lena went to Donnan's house after Gunnar mentioned that the detective had visited earlier. From the diary she found, Trisha has also learned the truth. Lena is not a child, but a dangerous adult fugitive. Trisha even understands how Lena operates, manipulating her way into families and staging deaths to look like accidents. But then comes an even darker revelation. Trisha finally admits what really happened in the past. The real Esther was never kidnapped. She was accidentally killed by her own brother, Gunnar, during a moment when he went too far. Because their family has a strong reputation, Trisha chose to cover it up. Together with Gunnar, she secretly buried Esther's body in a hidden location. No one else knows the truth, not even Alan, who has always believed his daughter was abducted. Now Trisha forces Lena to continue pretending to be Esther. She wants to keep Alan emotionally stable and protect the family's secret at all costs. After laying everything out, they work together to erase the evidence. They dispose of Donan's body and all the fingerprint records in the same place where Esther was buried. To complete the cover-up, Trisha even sends an email from Donan's account, making it look like he has gone on vacation. When she returns home, Trisha calmly tells Alan that she simply helped Lena after she fell off a bicycle, and he believes her without question. Later, Trisha sits down with Gunnar and explains Lena's true identity. Gunnar, who already has a cruel and unstable nature, immediately suggests killing Lena and making it look like an accident. But Trisha stops him, warning that acting too quickly would only create more problems. For now, they decide to let Lena continue playing the role of Esther in front of Alan. To avoid raising suspicion, Trisha begins coaching Lena, sharing detailed memories of Esther's life and giving her clothes that match Esther's usual style. Lena follows every instruction, and their plan starts to work perfectly. From her sessions with Dr. Seagar to the visits from their wealthy friends, no one suspects a thing as Esther is welcomed back into the family after 4 long years. A few days later during dinner, Lena becomes upset after Alan refuses to let her go with him to his art gallery. Frustrated, she storms off to her room with her food and ends up feeding it to a rat in the ventilation. Trying to comfort her, Alan later invites her to paint with him in his studio. From a distance, Trisha watches the two of them, noticing how close they seem. Lena even holds and kisses Alan's hand. To Alan, it means nothing more than a father showing affection to his daughter. But for Lena, it is something completely different. She has started to develop feelings for him and even begins to imagine taking him away from Trisha. Eventually, Alan heads to bed, and not long after, Trisha comes in, clearly jealous. She lashes out at Lena, mocking her appearance and putting her down. Back in her room, Lena is deeply shaken by what happened. Then she notices something disturbing. The rat she fed earlier is now dead. At that moment, she realizes Trisha must have poisoned the food, trying to kill her quietly. From that night on, Lena becomes convinced that Trisha will keep trying to get rid of her. The next morning, she strikes back. She prepares a smoothie that looks perfectly healthy, but secretly mixes in the dead rat from the night before. At the same time, she plans something even worse. While accompanying Alan to the train station, she intends to push both Trisha and Gunnar in front of an oncoming train. But just as she is about to act, a man suddenly appears and interrupts her, stopping the plan before it can happen. After Alan boards the train, Trisha has had enough. Furious after nearly being killed twice, she decides to end things right then and there. But Lena reacts quickly. She grabs Trisha's bag, sprays her with pepper spray, and steals her car to escape. Trisha immediately contacts a police officer she knows, and not long after, Lena is brought back home. This time, there is no hesitation. Trisha and Gunnar decide to kill Lena and stage it as a suicide. Trisha prepares to cut her wrist with a pair of scissors, but Lena fights back. She spits in Trisha's face, strikes Gunnar, and tries to run. Gunnar then throws her down the stairs, leaving her unconscious. But when they lose focus for a moment, Lena suddenly disappears. Gunnar grabs his fencing sword and starts searching through the dark house, determined to find her. Meanwhile, Trisha receives a call from Alan, who is on his way home after hearing from the police about Lena's earlier situation. As Gunnar continues searching, he eventually reaches his father's studio, and that is where Lena suddenly appears, attacking him without warning and killing him in a brutal way. Trisha is completely devastated when she sees Gunnar's lifeless body. Overcome with rage and grief, she immediately chases after Lena. Their struggle continues into the kitchen, where they fight violently until the stove is knocked over and flames begin to spread. Trisha keeps pursuing her, forcing Lena to retreat until she is cornered. With no way out, Lena climbs through the window and escapes onto the roof. At the same time, Alan arrives home and is horrified to see his house burning. He rushes inside, searching desperately for his family, and soon finds Trisha and Lena hanging on the edge of the roof. As Alan tries to help them, Trisha finally reveals the truth. She explains that Esther is not their real daughter, but an adult imposter named Lena. But before she can say anything more, her grip slips. She falls and dies instantly. Lena is pulled to safety, but Alan is left shaken by what he just heard. Confused and desperate, he looks closely at her face, trying to understand. That is when he notices something off and realizes she is wearing false teeth. The truth hits him all at once, and even in that moment, Lena shows her twisted feelings toward him. Overwhelmed with shock and fear, Alan loses his footing and falls, dying beside his wife. Not long after, the fire department arrives and rescues Lena. No one ever discovers what truly happened that night. To everyone else, she is just a tragic survivor. The police, along with Dr. Seagar, feel sympathy for her story, a child who was kidnapped for 4 years, only to return and lose her entire family in a single night. Without knowing her real identity, Dr. Seeger begins the process of finding a new adoptive family for her, and just like that, Lena is given another chance to start over, ready to continue the same deadly cycle once again. So the moral of the story is, if a 10-year-old paints better than you, knows too much, and randomly survives everything, maybe don't adopt first and ask questions later.